What up, peoples? Mr. Anomaly coming at you again. Another day with Mr. A. I did this video before on my old channel. I'm doing it again because, especially in the I don't know, the stride that I'm in, the momentum that I'm on right now. I just, it bears repeating. Some of y'all may or may not remember this, but I got some new subs, new viewers. You can't deny the truth. This dude is going to give you statistics on the attraction scale whenever they're out there in the street getting all the sausages. And then whenever they decide they're done with that and they're looking for the guy with the roses, the attraction scale broadens when she's looking for the human wallet. Let me let him go in. I'm just going to add my 2 cents. Here we go. Shout out to Love Made Logical.
This is a chart showing how men perceive women's attractiveness. Looks pretty normal. Men tend to perceive women's attractiveness on a standard bell curve. On the scale of 1 to 5, the average is 2.83, with the most common rating being 3. 8% are above the 4 and 17% below a 2.
Okay.
All pretty normal. And here is how women perceive men. Yeah.
Look at how they look how they view men. Most dudes, that video I did the other day, most women aren't attracted to most men. On average, they view men in the 1, actually less than a 2. Men are right here. They view most women as attractive. Okay, 3s, okay, we're realistic. Women, dudes are hideous, and the attraction scale is very small. We already getting started. That's how most women are not attracted to most men. Most men are a means to an end. Again, I'm not saying this to be mean-spirited. My whole channel is internal cultivation. Learning to love that man in the mirror and meaning it. Don't be like my boy did the other day, spending $90K because he's lonely chasing this freaking fairy tale of romance.
Doesn't look so good for men. Taking this at face value, only 1 in 6 men are above average in an absolute sense. And if we translate this plot to something more familiar, like IQ, then we have a world where women think 58% of men are brain damaged. When we dive a little deeper though, it becomes clear this isn't a men are too ugly to date thing. It's a men are too ugly to hook up with thing. This is OkCupid, one of the biggest dating sites in the world. And this is Christian Rudder, the former CEO of the platform. In 2009, looking to promote the platform, Rudder and his team began to release data from the site, giving us an insight into what the dating market really looks like behind closed doors. In 2014, he released the book Dataclysm, summarizing much of the data revealed by the site. Within the book, Rudder displays the differences between how men and women view each other's attractiveness on the site. But when asked about it in an interview promoting the book and platform, this is what he had to say.
Tinder, those curves move even further apart. Match, they move closer together. The male curve barely moves. It's really the female curve that moves around. The men kind of have the same curve on all 3 sites, and it's the female curve that moves around.
When OkCupid was acquired by the Match Group in 2011, Rudder got access to the rest of the Match Group's biggest players.
Yes, these sites are old now, but nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. It's still on repeat. Just the players. It's still the same.
Platform's data, the 2 biggest of which at the time, Match.com and Tinder, give us a lot of insight into what's really going on here. Although charts or data were never posted, we can estimate based on what Rudder said. This is an estimate of how women perceive men on Match.com, and this is an estimate of how women perceive men on Tinder. We can see that for women, as the dating site becomes more casual in nature, the standards climb. Although people like to push the narrative that women are delusional and have too high standards, the data seems to say the relatively high standards are only for casual intimacy.
So when they're hooking up, sleeping with the men they want to, the majority of men are hideous. When they're looking for a human wallet, it narrows out a little bit. Now they're willing to let it slide. Now the human wallet goes from being hideous to, okay, he's average. I can at least stomach it for a little bit. Hooking up hideous, human wallet is more broader. That's why I want to do this. These are statistics for you. Because again, we're not doing anything new thanks to these phones. They got us all by the balls. They're able to collect the data, statistics, and everything on us. They're listening to our conversations, what we're buying, searching. They got us by the teeth. So here's some numbers for you. Right there in plain sight. When they're getting on the CC, most men are hideous. When they're looking for that wallet, they let the bell curve a little bit more broader. Do not be the guy with the roses. But some of y'all like Steve. You're lonely and you're lustful, and all right, have fun in hell.
Which, when you consider the additional risks women take on with intimacy, the relatively high standards seem reasonable. Essentially, women are thinking, if I'm going to take the risk of a casual hookup, you better be attractive. The next question is then, what makes someone attractive? To answer this question, I'd like to bring forward a study from 2016, looking at what women look for in a speed dating context. The study started by giving women a list of 6 traits and asking them to assign points to each trait based on how important it was to them. The average distribution of points the women provided looked like this. All attributes given near even value. After completing the dates, the women were asked to assign the points to the men at the dating event. Then, which men they were going to see again. This is the chart displaying the actual distribution of what was seen as important by the women at the event.
Physical attractiveness is the biggest bubble, and fun. Intelligence is lower, sincerity is a small bubble. Physical attractiveness and fun when they're on the CC. Mutual interests, again, coitus and all that low vibration crap.
Physical attractiveness was by far the most important attribute, with the amount of positive responses and level of physical attractiveness having an astonishingly large correlation coefficient of 0.801.
You can't fake attraction, y'all. You cannot fake attraction.
For comparison, the correlation coefficient between IQ and academic performance is 0.54. Think about that for a second. For those wondering, online dating shows an even stronger correlation, with the data from OkCupid showing a 0.92 correlation coefficient between physical attractiveness and the perceived attractiveness of a profile. Confirming what a lot of men have recently begun to realize, physical attractiveness is just as important to women. A lot of men have recently begun to realize.
I like that meme right there. Yep, right there. Know the work rules. Looking good, Susan. The chat says, "Oh, how sweet." Looking good, Susan. Human resources. Yep, they attract the same thing, but just depending on who says it. It's cool when Chad says it, but whenever Poindexter says it, it's an issue. You can't fake it, y'all.
Physical attractiveness is just as important to women as it is for men. Women just don't admit it.
That's a good point.
Another thing I think most people aren't aware of is the effect of attractiveness is exponential. The 2011 study, What Makes People Click, Mate Preferences in Online Dating, looked at various traits to see what makes people attracted to each other. The study separated the 22,000 participants' facial attractiveness into deciles of attractiveness, with the top 10% getting separated into 2 groups, giving the top 5% their own group. To no one's surprise, the study found attractive people were significantly more likely to receive messages and match requests, but the distribution was eye-opening. We see a steady climb in matches and messages as participants get more attractive, until we get to the top 5%. Miles above the rest, the top 5% of men dominate in online dating.
Look at that, man. Look at that compared to... Look at that just compared to like the 80%. Look how high that is. Just compared to, if you want to do just the 80. Look, wow, y'all. And again, this is the society we live in. They all gonna take a shot. Again, the Dumb and Dumber programming. They all think they're unique. They're following the fairy tale ideology. They are all gonna take a shot at the rich Ted Bundy, the rich Pook, or the rich Richard Ramirez. And when he shits on her head, then they're going to go down in the trickle effect. But they're all going to take shots at those guys. Thanks to these phones, thanks to Lilith's mirror, they have access now. And these dudes are running through them, spreading herpes, all that stuff, man. Move accordingly. Move accordingly.
Seen as more than twice as desirable as a 90th percentile man. Data released from OkCupid touts similar, if not even more telling results, showing the exponential effects of physical attractiveness. Each percentile makes a bigger and bigger difference the closer you get to the top.
Yep.
Percentile makes a...
Yep. So that's the women are the red curve, men are the black curve. So yeah, most dudes are attracted to women. Yep. But women, dudes, look at that. Look at it. Yeah, they don't like most men. That just confirms the video I did the other day. Most women don't like most men, bro.
Bigger and bigger difference the closer you get to the top. I don't want the takeaway from this video to be that looks are the only thing that matter, because they're not. Another large contributor to a man's attractiveness is his social status. If we look again at the What Makes You Click study, we can see a large contributor to a man's perceived attractiveness is his occupation. Irregardless of a man's individual income, the industry he worked in had a large impact on if women attempted to match with him. This is a chart showing the attractiveness of different industries men in the study worked in, and my fuzzy best estimates of the average salary in those industries. As you can see, there's a correlation between the average salary in the industry and the attractiveness of it, but it's certainly not a one-to-one. Industries like computer engineering, science, government, politics, and financial accounting make a large amount of money, but don't give the men in them much of an attractiveness boost. Industries like firefighting, law enforcement, and military don't make a ton of money, but give the men in them large boosts in their attractiveness. And over here, less attractive than being unemployed are service, hospitality, and labor.
Wow, guys, labor is less attractive to being unemployed. What do you say? Hold up.
Being unemployed in their attractiveness. And over here, less attractive than being unemployed are service, hospitality, and labor.
Wow, those are less attractive than being unemployed. Wow.
And up here, in the corner, the
Entertainer.
highest paid and most attractive career option for men, legal/attorney.
Oh, legal attorney.
Maybe
Okay,
your
the
parents were
lawyers.
right about considering law school. Something I've heard discussed a lot over the last few years is how men get better with age while women only get less desirable. And while the former is true, the latter isn't. This is a chart showing the age at which men and women are most desirable to each other at every age. The thing that sticks out the most is that men's preferences don't really change as they age, always being the most interested in women 20 to 22. I think we all knew that though. Something I don't think most men realize is that the prime demographic they're interested in, 20 to 22-year-old women, are most interested in 21 to 25-year-old guys. That's your peak, guys. It's not your early 30s, and it's certainly not 38. It is worth noting that as a man, you'll receive the most attention from women in general between the ages of 25 to 30. This essentially means men have two primes. A first prime from the ages of 21 to 25, when prime women, 20 to 23, are most attracted to you. And a second prime from ages 25 to 30, when you'll get the most attention from women overall. I think it's also worth pointing out that even women start wanting to date a little younger as they get older. Dating truly is a younger man's game, and despite men seeming to age better in women's eyes than women do in men's eyes, Father Time continues to stay undefeated.
That's fair.
Now, there's one more thing in the What Makes You Click study I want to show you. When reading through the study, I found this. The researchers concluded that both men and women's height preferences depend on their own height. Basically, being shorter than a woman will on average make you be seen as significantly less attractive than a man of the same height as her, and in a whole nother category than men taller than her. I don't think this is too surprising, but here's something I think will be. Yes, this is men's height preferences for women. Outside of being reversed, men prefer women shorter than themselves, men's height preferences for women are nearly identical to women's height preferences for men. Which makes sense when you think about it. Would you want to date a girl 5 inches taller than you? Women feel the same way about dating men shorter than them. Although men and women think similar in regards to height, one thing they don't think similar in regards to is divorce. A commonly thrown around statistic is that women initiate 69% of divorces. But here's another stat that makes it even crazier. If we look at the percentage of same-sex divorces that are male-male versus female-female, we see that female-female relationships are responsible for 78% of same-sex divorces. Female-female marriages are more common than male-male ones, though, 55-45 split. So, we have to adjust for this. After we adjust for the differences in relationship commonality, the relative split of same-sex divorces are 69% women, 31% men.
That's hilarious. So dudes, when they dick on dick, are getting less divorces than women. I think we all know that women have the highest domestic abuse cases, because again, that stuff is hilarious. But yeah, the sauces on sausage, they cool, they chilling, right? But yeah, girl on girl chaos, that makes sense.
Despite men and women not even being involved in each other's relationships, the divorce percentages remain the same.
Percentage of heterosexual divorce, yep, 69%. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Yep. Women initiating divorce 69% of the time. That just proves it right there. The majority of women aren't attracted to most men. 20 to 30%, they cool, but yeah, at least 60 to 70%. Wow. Move accordingly, man. Move
Pretty
accordingly.
unbelievable, right? The current common hypothesis is this is due to trait neuroticism, which measures one's sensitivity to negative emotions. If you take a random man and woman, the woman will be more sensitive to negative emotion, more neurotic, 62% of the time. This is why women are commonly seen as more emotional and volatile, both sub-characteristics of neuroticism. What this means for divorce, though, is that in 62% of relationships, the woman will feel the problems in the relationship more than the man will, which explains a large portion of this seemingly astonishing statistic. And there you have it.
Yep.
8 charts.
So when she with the man she's not sexually attracted to, when she already had her bottom knocked out and created the soul ties, that's going to be amplified even more so. I've done videos on this. Jordan Peterson confirmed, especially when they be on, you had the birth control, when they get off birth control, when they get married, they get off birth control, and it makes their hormones and it makes them be more crazy, and they desire the man who has their imprint, who they're bound to, even more so. Moral of the story is internal cultivation. Learn to love that man in the mirror, and do not be the guy with the roses. Don't be that guy, y'all. Do not be that guy. I think we're pretty much it here.
That hopefully change the way you see dating and relationships.
Yeah, I got some statistics for you. Yep. And again, like you talking about, as dudes get older, yeah, most women are the real talk gonna want younger men. I mean, come on, man. That's why you gotta get your money up and all that. You get old, Father Time's undefeated. It is what it is. You can be an older man, get a woman that's younger. There's a high probability she's gonna want to be out there in the streets getting throttled by a young Ted. So it is what it is. Monk mode is absolute. Y'all do what y'all want to do out here. I just wanted to redo that again to show you some statistics. The attractive scale, when they're getting a CC, they're not attracted to most men. When she's trying to look for a human wallet, they let it slide a little bit so they can go on and get that safety net. It is what it is, man. Hey, man, the milk's been spilled. The die has been cast. All you can do is move accordingly. I'm out, good peoples. Latest.